where three of the Okayest Youth Ministers talk about youth ministry. I'm Michael Deese, and I am joined by the one and only Hunter Puckett and the many Jeremy Crow.
Who's dealing with some
That
carpal
feels
tunnel
weird
today?
That felt weird. I don't know.
I tried to make it weird every time.
First of all, elephant in the room for those that are watching on video. What's up with your wrist?
I think the tunnel of my carpal is messed up,
That's great.
It's just a copper fit though.
and I'm wearing
That is true.
wearing a wrist brace, and
Why does it have such a big palm?
it's got some like beads, some soft little beads.
Yeah, if you're
Can I
not
feel it?
if you're
Get a
not watching
feel.
on the
Get a feel.
video,
Get a feel.
you're
Yeah, you
missing
need to
out.
watch the video.
Get a feel.
That feels good.
We're back. Yeah, we're back.
And we're continuing our discussion on budgets.
We
Yeah.
are. Before we get into that, though, we do need to discuss. It was opening weekend in college football.
Yeah, it was.
And
I mean, honestly, truly, could it have gone any better?
It for everyone, it went great.
If I would have remembered to choose the pick'ems, it would have been.
I don't care
great.
about the pick'ems thing. I just don't.
Because you didn't
that.
join it. You're a turd.
No, because I don't ever remember to do it. Do you know
Well,
why
I
I
did
didn't
not
join
remember.
it?
I take fantasy football too serious.
That's right. That's right. That's where it's at.
I wasn't super happy with my draft, but I have a really good quarterback, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I had several drafts. I went pretty good. I have one team that I think is like a championship level team. I think I've got it in the bag already. So
With Shadur,
yeah, Shadur.
Did you see I
is my-
picked him
he's my
last?
starting. No,
Is he on your team?
No, of course not. He's on. He's
He's
on
on my
Hunter's team
team.
for sure.
oh yeah, I picked him
Shadur
last.
Sanders. He's going to be the starter.
No,
for
if Shadur's
every
listening
team.
to this, no offense on the last pick, but I need some people that gets me some points.
Well, we just wanted it to be more like the NFL.
Did you say if Shadur listens to this?
Yeah, we just wanted it to be more like the NFL.
He
so
may
when
be
you
a
tune
listener.
when you tune in, Shadur, we're not
We're not
casting
sponsored by him
shade.
yet.
or anything, but we are saying that you were only selected in the 6th round.
You did make it.
You made it to the NFL. That's an accomplishment.
Which is
because,
way more than a lot of people that play football.
If
can
the
say.
Cleveland Browns didn't exist, you probably wouldn't have made it.
I made it to 9th grade.
Yeah.
That was about it.
That's pretty good. I never played.
I played
football.
trumpet in the band
We know.
for the football team.
Hey, get on the field somehow.
I think it's funny how the band plays for the football team.
Yes.
Like, and the cheerleaders cheer for the football team.
Except for
Yeah,
Jackson
we're just
Olin.
there to
the
serve
dance,
them.
The dance team dances for the yeah. Everybody is there just to serve the football team.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like, hey, we're going to be a band and we're gonna do our own little thing over here. No, it's because
Were you at
Well,
the-
I mean,
hold on,
welcome
hold
to
on, hold on.
America.
Were you at the Hartsville game Friday night?
we're all tied. I was not, but I heard some good
Jackson
news.
Olin,
yeah,
best band in the country, hands
that's right.
down.
Yeah,
and they're
and their
styling.
dance team
And the
I
football
mean,
team is there for the band.
Yes,
I like
that's
to call it the
That is true.
choreography team.
Yeah,
COC appropriate.
make it FHU approved.
Yep.
Yeah. So we are discussing budgets some more.
Budgets.
I think this is a perfect time to discuss this, and that's kind of why we lined it up this way, because you guys should be working on your budgets. If you're not,
You're a terrible youth
slacker
minister and you're the
you-
worst.
Yeah,
They should
you need
fire
to
you.
quit.
Maybe not to that extent, but you
Oh,
probably should start working on your budget.
Let me to that note. Let me tell you my favorite moment of my weekend. I spoke at another congregation this weekend. I was a guest speaker. Did a 2-part series. It was fun.
Ba-doop-doop-doop. Yeah.
But my favorite moment was not that. Now, don't get me wrong. If anybody listens from on out, hey, appreciate you having me there. But that afternoon, my mom sends me a text, and my mom goes to Coleman with us sometimes. She's there, most of the time, and so she sends this text. She goes, "Why were you preaching at Aniana? Is something wrong? Is everything okay?" I was like, "Do you think they're firing me?" She's like, "I just don't know why you're preaching somewhere else." I was like, "Were you interviewing?" I said, "No." I said, I was just invited as a guest speaker." And for my mom, it was so it was such an unbelievable thing that I was invited to speak somewhere. I must be getting fired.
I mean, when you told me that you were
you're
going,
getting fired.
when
Yeah.
you told me that you were going to speak somewhere, I was like, "Who? Jeremy?
no,
Really?
not that guy.
Jeremy?"
But,
I'm just kidding.
But I was like, the immediate conclusion for her was, you must be needing a job.
yeah, that's
In
what
order
it
for you
is.
to go speak somewhere
Thanks,
else.
Mom. Thanks for the support.
Hey, but can we make a promise right here, right now?
What's that?
This next year at Maywood, will you speak one night?
Yeah.
I mean, you
sure.
set it all up, and you always
schedule
lead
it.
singing,
It feels
but
weird. I'm the guy that schedules it. It feels
What if
weird
we
to schedule
swap?
myself to speak.
What if we swap? What if I lead singing for you?
And I run the canteen.
No.
I got him.
You speak, and then I lead singing for you.
Hey,
Maybe so. We might commit.
I
to
am
commitment on
gonna,
that.
if everybody's okay with it, I would like to just speak on the first night every year from here on
It is
out.
nice.
It's the best.
Well, it's because you still have a voice, and you're done with it.
That's the thing. And it's because
check it off.
I would say, and I'm going to toot my own little horn over here, but I would say planning the games and stuff is the hardest thing at camp.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
why we have you do it.
Yeah.
And so
New guy.
And so I love
bad
doing
job.
it. I have fun with it. It's a lot of fun for me. It's great.
And you kill it too.
But
They're fun games.
The
But
problem
like, kill
is,
it in the way that you mess it up.
the problem is,
kidding.
at the end of the week, I'm dead.
Yeah, sure,
I am
sure.
completely worn out. And being able to speak that first night, first thing overall, that just gives me the rest of the week to just worry about the games and activities and stuff.
Well, there you go.
Anyways, yeah.
So we might could make that happen. for
I'm
me to
glad.
speak.
I'm glad that we could have that conversation.
regale that.
Yeah.
But
So-
it did blow my mind that my mom thought that I was. There's no way that I was invited to, like, just because that someone wanted to hear me.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's hard for me to believe
Same.
it. But
Same. It was really good though. I will say, very hospitable, awesome place. I really enjoyed it. Sweet people, and they took me out to lunch, and I had an incredible Mexican food dish.
I was about to ask if it was Mexican food.
Oh yeah, and I tore up some chips and salsa, but I got something that was like French fry, like steak fries, with all the meats, like every kind of meat they make there. I don't know, and then cheese sauce just poured over it. It was
sounds
so
good
good.
to me.
I just gained a pound listening to what you just said.
It was so good.
I want to say that Aniana is really trying to do things. I mean, they're excited about some stuff, and that's why they had Jeremy come. And I'm excited about that church. I've been praying for him since Jeremy told me he was going to speak there, and how excited they were about maybe even starting a youth ministry there and doing things.
Yeah,
and getting
they've
things
got some good
started.
things going.
I think that's pretty cool.
They hired an intern for the summer for the first time this last summer, and that really, they saw some good benefits results out of that.
Yeah.
And I think that there will be a full-time, if not, that guy maybe serving that role right now is like a part-time thing. I think there may be a full-time youth ministry hire there in the future. So
That's awesome. Yeah,
it's cool.
So we're talking about budgets, and I'm gonna kind of get everybody hooked in on this question
Do it.
because that's what
Do
our
it.
paper tells us to do, and we are slaves to our paper.
Yeah, it's a really good question though.
If you only had $1,000 for your youth ministry budgeted for this year, your elders said, "Hey, we're going to cut back only $1,000." Where would you spend the money? And I have an answer to the question, but I want to hear y'all first.
After I stopped crying because it got cut to $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough. We do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I would probably try to apply it towards a retreat or a camp. Not because those things are necessarily always the best activity in terms of what they learn, but the fellowship and the community that they build, spending 48 hours together or 5 or 6 days together, whatever we do. Those you render so many good results out of that with your students, regardless of whatever the theme or the Bible lessons or whatever are, just the community building that happens. The other thing that I would say is either be that or it would be some kind of big service opportunity in the summer.
Okay.
Where they go do some sort of service to others.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. We don't pay for camp to begin with, so I didn't think about camp, but camp would be a great one. Maybe one of our conferences we go to would be good. Kind of similar thing to camp. Maybe an OG Decatur work camp.
Oh yeah.
For the whole week, something like that. But something probably more of a week-long thing where they do have time to spend more time together and just be around each other.
My answer would be, I would first and foremost, I would make sure that I have high quality Bible lessons and stuff for the year, or like a curriculum of some sort. I would pay for that. That would be the first thing. The other thing, because that's not going to cost $1,000. It might be about $200 or so. But the next thing that I would do is I would use the rest to plan a retreat. I think retreats. in my opinion, retreats are the essential thing in our youth ministries that we can use that tool to not only teach, not only build relationships or any of that stuff, but just to have all the adults there that are helping serve, all the different activities that we do. The kids get to know the adults. They learn a really good lesson during like the class times and during the devotional times. They're going to grow closer to each other. I just feel like retreats are the bread and butter of youth ministry. Would y'all agree with that?
I think that's, and some variation of the retreat, whether it's a lock-in or a retreat or a camp or, some kind of overnight spending extended time together.
Where you have to have supervisors.
Yes. Well, it's not a business, but we always think of ROI, return on investment. What are you putting into this youth group that you're getting a really good return on? Well, and it's different for everybody. I really expected y'all to talk about Uplift.
Yeah.
Uplift at Harding.
Yeah.
Like I expected y'all to say that because y'all talk so highly about it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing. It's something that's overnight that you're with all the kids and things along those lines.
Yeah.
But then you really do get to think about retreat, or maybe it's just our own experiences when we were in youth groups. What impacted us the most? And for a lot of us, it's those weekend retreats somewhere.
Yeah.
So, why not do something like that that's going to impact somebody else?
And I'll say that for my high school experience, when I was a student, I don't remember any of the themes that we did. Like, I don't remember the lessons. I don't remember which speaker came in and spoke. Some of them, maybe I have a glimpse of it. But what I do remember is the games. And I remember staying in the cabins. And I remember, like, I could probably point to what bed I slept in at a certain retreat, 20 years ago, because it stored this core memory for me of a time with my youth group. I remember a dumb game that we played, that our youth minister planned for us. Those kind of things, just those core memories of spending time with each other and building community.
I remember going with Tyler Boyd on a retreat. It was my freshman year at Freed, and I was helping him with the retreat. And I came and I taught one of the classes or something, and that was awesome. I loved that. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that just came into my mind. So pretty cool.
Those kind of things, like at Freed, my time with Chi Beta, I remember the retreats more than anything else we did. Like, it just those little things stick out to you. So I think those overnight kind of things, and to that element, I love a good van ride. Like, I love taking everybody's phones at the beginning of a bus ride and making them ride for like 4 hours with no phones. To build that community on the way there. So anyway.
All right, so I want to kind of get us started with this idea, because when we're talking about a budget, I think the most important things should be laid out first. When we are doing a budget, when we're trying to get a budget or anything, what is most important to you? And this is where priorities kind of come into. That's why we started that with that question. $1,000, $1,000 is not a lot of money, but
it's going to go quick.
It's going to go very quick.
But it gives you some indication of what's valuable to you.
Yeah. And so, I think the big thing here is we've got to make sure that we are prioritizing the right events, the right trips, the right things.
Yeah.
And so, what would y'all say is number one on your priority list on this stuff?
Before you go into what the things are, we've all seen the cheesy, visual example with the rocks and the sand and all that, right?
I have, but explain it. Explain what you mean.
Not that you've done that, right? Have you done that lesson? Probably. Where we have a jar and you take, you've got sand, you've got pebbles, and you've got like some big rocks. Okay, and so you take
and water.
Yeah, and water, and so you pour. Some of the sand in, and it fills up, to the bottom. Then you pour the pebbles in, and it fills up to a certain level. And then you pour the rocks in. Well, the big rocks won't fit at that point, right? You can't get everything into the jar. But then you do it again, and you start with the things that matter first, right? The big rocks have to go in first, and then you pour in the pebbles, and they can shake in around all the rocks, and then you pour in the sand, and it shakes in around, and then you put water in. And what's crazy is by the time you finish the visual example, all the things that you had at the beginning do fit in the original jar.
Right.
Okay. Now you have to practice ahead of time, or you'll get too many things that you can't get.
I've done that before. Yeah, that's great.
But the visual of this creates, this concept is visual lesson to students to say, hey, you have to prioritize what things matter first in your life, and you can do other things too, but you don't want to do all these other things and then figure out the things that should matter most to you don't fit anymore.
Right.
And so with our budgeting, we kind of take that same principle. What are the big rocks? What are the big boulders that need to go in first before we start filtering in all the extra things?
Yeah. All right. So what would you say the number one, like the most important thing about using your budget? What is it? What is the most important thing?
You mentioned it earlier. It's curriculum.
Okay.
In the for me, the grand scheme of things, that's why we're here is to allow the kids an opportunity to grow closer in their faith, spirituality, things along those lines. Books, lessons, Bibles, things along those lines. Every new sixth grader that comes into our youth group gets a brand new Bible. What does save me some money is I do make all of our curriculum. So that's extremely convenient. It's a lot of work on my end, but it's a big
Saves money.
saver on that end. But it works really well. But we're here to teach. We're here for the classes. We're here to make sure they grow spiritually. And that's not just Sundays and Wednesdays. That's hey, what are we doing for this retreat? That's what are we doing for this? So it's books all around, material all around, and just having that planned out.
Yeah, I think I would agree. That would be the number one thing. I did a test thing whenever I first got here at Hartselle with my parents of all the kids, and I told them to fill out a thing. I think Jeremy may have actually given me a lot of the questions that I used in that,
Like a survey.
like a survey.
Yeah.
And I had them fill it all out, and then they turned those in, and I said, order these in order of most important to least important. And I said, keep in mind, all these things are very important.
Yeah, it doesn't mean
but
the
what's
least
most
is
important
not
to
important.
you. Yeah. And so the number one overall, and it wasn't even close, it was 80% of all the adults had teaching and curriculum and Bible classes as their number one priority. The rest of them were all convoluted. It was all just based on whatever. But their number one thing was, we want our kids to be in a good Bible class.
Yeah.
And so I think whether you create your own stuff, but you have to buy books to go with that stuff to supplement it, and however you use it, curriculum, teaching resources, whatever it is. I just got the Logos app. I just did that.
Yeah, and listen,
very
if you're
useful.
a minister and you don't have that, download it.
Yeah,
It's very useful. It's very convenient. You can have a lot of online books. It makes studying very easy.
Yeah,
and if you're looking into a graduate program, it makes research a lot easier as well.
I've been teaching Hebrews, and I haven't ever taught it before. And I just pulled up Logos yesterday, and I had everything that I could ever need in front of me. It was pretty awesome.
So what you just said, though, by saying, I did a survey and asked my parents, what you did was you asked them, what to y'all are the big blocks, right? What needs to go in first?
Yeah.
And so that can be a great way if you're trying to figure out how to prioritize things in your ministry and your budget planning. A good thing is to ask your deacons, ask your parents, ask the teens, what matters to you guys. Now, is there times where maybe you felt like you came into a ministry that what they prioritized wasn't what needed to be prioritized? I'm sure there's been times like that, right? But you can get a good feel for what parents are kind of expecting. Because the other thing is, that's the metric by which you're going to be judged whether you're doing a good job or not in some ways. Like if you're responding to the need of what people think is important. If Michael took that research and then he planned, 4 trips to Six Flags next year and wasted a bunch of, they would say, you're an idiot, right?
I would think so.
We just told you we value Bible class curriculum and Bible class, learning. And so for him, it's important that he have some numbers in his budget that applies towards helping that be better.
Yeah.
But also, Michael doesn't do Six Flags. He goes to Disney.
Yeah.
I
The
did
whole
that.
youth group to
It
Disney.
was great. It was
So
great.
another big block within that, I think, would be trips and retreats.
Yeah.
We have an area-wide retreat coming up at the end of the month, actually.
Dude,
I'm
No,
pumped.
it's
The end
next
of
month.
October.
Yeah, end of
Oh,
October.
October,
We're a month and a half away.
Oh, Rush
Rush
is
is the-
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have my calendar in front of me.
No, okay.
But we have a big area-wide retreat, and that falls into it. Any of your mission trips goes into it. Conferences, exposure, uplift, CYC, legacy, Rush, anything that you go to, that's what falls into it as well. And I feel like they kind of build off of each other.
Yeah.
I explained to my parents at that. I call it the youth group dinner. I explained it to them. We have all these events that we do, and it usually comes out to about one big event a month. And,
Yeah,
and I
that's
try and
about
explain to them hey, I'm not choosing these at random. I'm not choosing these at oh, well, this one's convenient. This one's here, here, and here. There's a reason we go to each one of these, and I give them the reason. This
And if
is
there's
why we
not,
do
we're not
this.
going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't fit the reason, or if the event changes, it gets on the chopping block. And if it's not good the second year, then we get rid of it and we find something else to replace it. Everything is intentional. So making sure that your trips, making sure your retreats, your mission trips, your conferences, make sure that they're also intentional, and make sure they go well with your overall goal of what you want your youth group to look like, to know, to experience.
So you give it 1 year. If it doesn't go well, I call it the DeBoer principle. No, I'm just kidding. No,
the Kalen DeBoer principle.
He's in a tough spot. So
Roll Tide.
Okay, but also add in. You've got those kind of retreat moments. You've got curriculum, Bible class. I think service is a huge block. Is a huge priority thing that I think that if we're not teaching our students to be servants of others, we are missing the mark. And so, finding ways to incorporate that into our budget. I know obviously it doesn't take money to serve, but at the same time, it takes money to provide opportunities for service, right? Your students are going to be voluntarily doing these things, but we have to figure out how to help them have those opportunities.
We do a backpack program. I'm sure I've talked about it in the episodes before, but it's this backpack program, and we feed, we call it backpacks to 50 kids at a school in Decatur. And I just bought all of that before I came here for our recording, and that costs money. So it does add up. So I think all three of those are your big, we're going to say the big rocks, the big pillars of this budget is the idea of the curriculum and teaching, trips and retreats, and then service and outreach. Now I think everything kind of breaks down into smaller pieces, but it's also coming from those as well.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about your pebbles. What's the next thing you're going to kind of move down the scale there? What things are still valuable, but they're not necessarily the big items?
I think there's an argument to be made on whether this is one of the big rocks or one of the pebbles, and that is just trying to fellowship and build relationships among your group. The service projects are not going to be very successful. The outreach projects are not going to be very successful if your group doesn't mesh.
That's right.
And so trying to build your group up and getting them to be friends and getting them plugged into the same groups and all that stuff within your youth ministry is going to help all of the things that we just talked about. I even see it in Bible class. When I'm teaching Bible class, before when I first got here, the group was kind of fresh. They didn't really know each other very well, but building those relationships in really helps out the Bible class, because then they're all seeing their friends and their peers all paying attention and asking questions. So they are then invited to ask questions and pay attention, and so that you see that also with it. So that would be my number one.
So you do, you see those things walk hand in hand together.
Correct.
And helping each other along. For us, I don't know, I think you did the same thing or something similar on Thursdays this summer. We did a weekly Bible study, right? My interns led a Bible study every Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. Very important for our kids to be there. It's a good time to get some of this biblical teaching, training, and learning like we just talked about. It's one of our big rocks. But alongside that, they would go eat lunch together and fellowship and hang out after the Bible study. And those two things complemented each other, right? Mm-hmm. The fellowship activity kind of helped get more kids involved with the Bible study activity.
Yeah, exactly. So, that I think that would be a good, I don't know if that's a rock or a pebble, but it's kind of in between.
Well, it's a connector, I guess we would say. Because what you do see is the events and fellowship, the lock-ins, game nights, things like that, it really pulls those kids on the fringe in as well.
Yes.
It gets them involved at the same time. And that's something that I don't know if we've really talked about that a whole lot.
On the fringe is a golf term, Michael. You might not know it.
What's golf? What's a
fringe?
Golf?
Doug Fields, Purpose-Driven Youth Ministry. Is that Doug? Mm-hmm. Doug Fields talks about it. He has the circles and, your core kids, and it goes out from there. And that's what the goal is for youth ministers, is to get those kids on the outside of these circles into the core group.
Move to the next circle.
And that's something that really benefits them, and it benefits you as well. And it grows the entire youth group together. It makes them closer. It makes them work better. Due to that, the trips and retreats become better. Your Bible classes become better. People are more open to speaking. Your service projects do a lot better when you have more kids show up.
Yeah. And so, as you can see, this is why prioritizing things with your budget gets kind of confusing, because we have already made an argument. We're like, we'll just add that in there. And so then we're going to go to our next little topics here, and we're like, I don't know. I think that might need to go, because if we don't have transportation, right, we can't do any of these trips.
And it all depends on the heartbeat of your group. You got to figure out who your group is.
And so we can make an argument for all of these things, but we do have to prioritize. This is something that we have to do, because we don't have an unlimited amount of money. We have a certain amount, and we are constrained by that amount. And so these other topics and things are important. They're very important, but without Bible classes, without very intentional events and trips, retreats, and service, I'm not sure you're going to have a very successful youth ministry.
Yeah. And a lot of your events are going to be dual credit kind of things. Like they're going to hit multiple of these categories, right?
Yes.
Hopefully, if we're doing it well. What about your sand items? The things that like, this is fun, I'm glad to have it, but it's not really going to make a difference of whether or not you can be successul in the long run.
Disney World. Disney World.
That was a boulder for me. That was
one of the big ones. Yeah. No, I would say finding ways to support your volunteers. Having volunteers and getting them to come to things. Kind of like subscriptions. Like I have a Canvas subscription that our church uses. That's one of the things that we use.
It's fluff that helps, but it's not necessary. Necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, your volunteers are necessary, and your logistics, your transportation, that's necessary. And I feel like they can be kind of grouped together. Mm-hmm. I went multiple years without a church bus, but then I really, really relied on my adult volunteers to help me out to make sure kids are being transported and things on those lines. And now it's, we have the church bus. Well, now I don't need as many adult volunteers, but they are still very useful to have.
So I guess what we're saying is that volunteer support should be one of the boulders.
Do you wish that your church bus would be just a little bit bigger?
No, because I don't want a CDL license.
I already have a CDL, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if you're one of 3 people in your entire church with a CDL license.
Is the worst. It's the worst. Side note: don't get a bus that requires a CDL. Moving on. Put that as a sand. That's not a rock.
But there's a lot of stuff. I kind of call this my relationship building with the kids. That's kind of the next thing, because I would rather them have a relationship with each other than have one with me. Mm-hmm. And so that's I have a budget that's just called my general fund, and I tell them this is my general fund. Said every week I'm going to take kids out to eat. We're going to get ice cream, sometimes multiple times a week. Something is going to happen where I'm going to be doing something where I'm spending time with families or kids every single week. I'm going to find some way to do that. And that's going to require a little bit of money. And so when you make this decision about, just taking kids out to eat or inviting a small group,
going to ball games,
any of that kind of stuff is very important because that helps me build a relationship with those families. And that requires money, because a lot of times that revolves around tickets of some sort, food of some sort, and being a participant in the activity that's going on. And so, and also don't forget to budget. Like if you have a family and your family is going, you talk with your elders and say, whenever we have a group or a retreat or something like that, my family needs to be covered in that retreat or in the meal plan or whatever it is, if that's what you want to do, and make sure that that's communicated properly and that is covered.
And the goal with good budgeting is that we're doing good discipleship in the long run with our students. And I think that we've all probably seen and experienced groups where these things are upside down, and that we prioritize the fluff over the rocks, like the sand or the pebbles got put ahead of the big rocks. And what ends up happening is you raise weekly discipled students who are, and I don't mean weekly like weeks at a time. I mean, they're not doing well, right?
Superficial Christians.
Yes. Yeah. And they get out of high school and they go to college and they lose their faith, and because they didn't have a good discipleship model as a student in the youth ministry. Right. And so it matters that we get these rocks in the right place and the pebbles and the sand in the right place.
Yeah. And so, that kind of stuff, we talked about like apps and all of that kind of stuff. Then you have kind of at the bottom is...
I also would like to add, because it kind of goes along with us too, before that's miscellaneous, but taking care of yourself as well. Choosing a couple of different conferences to go to for you. Yes. M2Y, we're going to talk about that at the end of the episode. M2Y Ministry to Youth Conference, Revival, NCYM, I can't remember it. NCYM or any of those.
Yeah, any of those that...
Yeah. I want to tell you, I thought of those things for years in ministry. I thought of those things as sand. That it was something, if I had extra money at the end of my budget, that was fluff that I could add.
Do you remember?
And I had changed my stance on that. So
I'm going to interrupt you and tell you that I've been telling you that for years.
I know.
And you never listened.
I know.
Probably 10 years. I mean, literally 10 years.
Yeah.
And
man, go to a lectureship. Go.
Yes.
We talked about the cup analogy recently, haven't we?
Yeah.
You can't pour out of an empty cup. Go
Right.
get refilled somewhere. MTY, and we're going to, really promote that. We love it. But MTY is a great conference to go to. It's youth ministers. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. This year's in Gatlinburg. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, did y'all know that we interviewed Lucas Dial, the president of M2Y?
What?
Did you know that we interviewed him and
The
haven't played
president?
that episode?
Yeah, we're waiting.
I didn't know that. I was talking to
Was
him.
the
put that
audio
on.
good on that one?
I think so. Yeah, I was talking to him, and I just completely forgot that we had done that. I mean, completely forgot to it. But he's in a fantasy football league with me.
Was he the president at the time?
No,
See,
but
that's
he was
why.
made president like
No,
a day
that's
after. Yeah. So that's pretty funny. That
Shout out Lucas, though. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy. He's awesome. And I just pulled it up, and it turns out, yes, we did record on 11/9/24
I'll get to
I
see
love
him.
that.
I'll get to see him second week of October.
at 8:50 a.m. So
Is that when he spoke at your retreat?
no, that was when he was at M2Y conference, and we
Yeah.
interviewed him and talked to him.
Man, we got to get that guy on there.
I know. Well,
Before
he,
M2I, probably.
he is open to come onto the show, so we
Okay.
should do that.
Well, and if you are coming to M2Y, or if you have not made plans, please do go register. Once again, we will talk about this in an episode, but please do go register. But then also come by the booth and hang out with us for a little while.
Yeah.
We'll have our
We'll
booth
all
there.
be there.
We will
Yeah.
all be there.
and I think we're going to bring all the stuff, right?
I got the clearance from my wife to go, so
Are you staying with me?
we're roomies.
Oh,
Sorry,
Roomies.
Michael, you got to find your own room.
I'm probably going to be
I
staying
snore.
with my wife. Hey, are we taking all the recording stuff?
I'm down.
Yeah, we'll take
I'm
it.
in.
Awesome.
Set up the booth.
Okay, so anyways, make sure that you are filling your cup. You can't just constantly be pouring because
It's
if
not
your cup's
sand.
empty, it's not sand. That's something very important. So you need to build yourself up and fill yourself back up, or you're going to be trying to pour from an empty cup, and it's not going to be very beneficial for anyone.
To say that in a different way, I have felt more healthy in my role in ministry in the last 5 years that I've been going to those than I had in a long time.
Yeah. Some of the things, that we can kind of just to kind of put it into larger terms, your big rocks are mission critical things: discipleship, education, retreats, service projects, any kind of thing like that. Your next thing is your pebbles, and that is your things like volunteer training, your meals, your fellowship extra things, and then you have sand. That's things like T-shirts, little bonus activities, going to play Top Golf with your
Sure.
kids
Disney.
one night, going to Disney World. That kind of stuff is all stuff that's the sand, and that keep that all in mind while you're planning out your budget. That's very important.
But we also have a miscellaneous category too. And that's the things that we oftentimes forget or maybe overlook or really don't account for. And I will say, and I'm going to be honest for a second, I have been guilty on this year. I have had to ask for a budget extension. First time in 7 years. I felt really bad. I don't think the elders really cared as much, but I did not expect the youth group to grow the way that it has this year. And us bringing more kids on trips, and then on top of that, just inflation has really eaten my budget.
Yeah.
So I had to do
Literally
that.
eating
Yeah.
in groceries.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, we're getting a 1% tax back thing here in Alabama.
Yeah,
on
it would be
groceries.
nice.
So
But that on top of that, you have sports games that you go to. For me, I have tennis, football. I have a lot of theater kids, and all that adds up over time.
Yeah.
So make sure you're budgeting for that. Make sure you're budgeting for yourself. Make sure you're budgeting for things that you're not having to pay out of pocket for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
And also make sure you budget for inflation.
Okay, so
And growth. If you're not budgeting for growth, then
Well,
you're not.
and think about this. Let's say just a youth group has 20 kids, and then halfway through the year they graduate 3, but then the new 6th graders coming up, there's 12 of them.
Yeah, that's
So,
what
I mean,
happened to me this year.
Yeah, so you really have to play that as well because you're budgeting for 20 kids, but then you're losing 3, but you're gaining 12.
Yeah.
So like halfway through the year, you're gonna have to
picking up
readjust
9.
that, and it's going to grow even more.
We graduated 2 and gained 12.
I think we were even this year. I think it was
so
like
you
5
had a
and
10
5.
kid surplus now.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me ask you this: do y'all do you do the budget completely of your own planning in your thought, or do you meet with your youth deacons and get advisement from what they think or what they've experienced or what they've heard from families? Is it kind of on your shoulders?
I don't have a youth deacon, so
Okay.
I go to myself.
Okay. I'd like to thank myself.
I talked to Justin, our preacher, and kind of say, what do you think? How does this fit, with what we're trying to accomplish?
He has a background in youth ministry too.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he's been doing he did youth ministry for like 12 years or something. But what do you prioritize? What do you think I should be prioritizing? And we have a really good relationship where he can say, I'm going to prioritize this overall, and I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, But we can talk about it and we can have an open conversation about it. I don't think that's ever happened before. But I talk with him, and then I go with one of my youth deacons and talk with them, Matt and Bradley and Mark and Matt and bunch of other guys. So
the reason I ask that is we want to align the things that we're trying to do in our mission of our youth group. We want to get those things lined up with what we're prioritizing our budget. And so, like today, after this conversation, I will be sending out a message, to all of my deacons and saying, hey, what do you think that our students need to get this year out of our ministry, right? Whether that's what things do we hope they learn, what things do we hope that they experience and do, what things do we hope that they're feeling about their faith, what do we want to prioritize, and then from those conversations, I'm going to let that affect how I'm structuring my budget plan for 26.
Yeah. So you take your goals, you take everything that your priorities, and then you use that as like a backwards compatible thing for your budget. What's most important? Here's how much money this is going to cost. And once all of these things are covered, we're going to start just slacking off as the things go. Like when we went to Top Golf, we did not use our church budget at all. That was all our kids paid for 100% of that. Because that was not in my budget, in my initial plans. And so things like that, build the budget backwards from the goals that you have. And if you want specific things in your ministry, people, your kids being more relational with each other, whatever it is, if you want those things, you need to invest in those things first, and then you can build from that.
Now we have our practical takeaways. 3 action steps. Draft your categories clearly. Probably not picking up Shadur Sanders as your last pick in your fantasy football draft.
That's probably a good idea. Yeah.
But, for the memes, you got to have them on your team. And when you have a blowout game, you might put him in as quarterback.
And you can name your team something to do with Shadur Sanders.
Exactly.
Yes. So there's always a good thing that comes along
He's
with
the
this.
Shadur thing.
That might be it.
No.
Anyways, but no.
That's where one of my youth group boys would go, airball.
No more catch-all lines. No more lines where you're just throwing random numbers at or maybe just some unintentional things that you're doing. Make sure everything's intentional.
Yeah.
There's something that backs up the things that you are doing.
Yeah. So when you're making your budget, find those big rocks, the big boulders that are the most important things, and make sure you have enough money allocated with those. And if you're going to need more money throughout the year, or maybe, hey, I think this may be enough, but I don't know. We'll just see what happens. No, make sure that you have enough in those big moment things. Because the things that you're using to build to be your cornerstone of your ministry are the most important things. You need to be using your budget for that first and foremost. And if you have to give a little bump in your budget, give a little bump in your budget to cover those things, and then use the rest of your budget to fund the other things.
And the last thing I would say is look at what you're trying to accomplish, your mission, and look at it beside your budget and say, okay, do these things line up? Do they match each other? Do they align with what we're trying to accomplish? And if it doesn't, make adjustment.
Yeah.
Change it to where it does.
It could be that last year, you did an event that you just thought that just didn't go toward our goals. That didn't hit what we were trying. That didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Just scrapping like that thing,
and you did that.
Yeah, that's right.
You scrapped something, and you said we're not doing that next year.
Yeah, and so just scrap it, and then say we're not going to budget that because that did not help our goals at all. And so replace it with something different, or use that money to allocate that money somewhere else where you know that there will be a difference made.
And communicate that to people. We're going to talk about that on another episode coming up, but how we communicate and defend our budget as we communicate to our leaders, to our parents, to our teens, helping them understand why I made this choice, right? I didn't just haphazardly decide this. I take what I do serious, and I made sure that what we're doing is aligning with what we're budgeting for.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, to close up, I really hope that this has helped you out. I hope this has helped you with your priorities. You've heard us talk about some of our priorities and what we're excited to do and what we're excited to talk about with our youth ministries, and how prioritizing the most important things and making sure that we have enough money for those things is the most important thing at the beginning. And then we can continue the conversation as we go. So next week, we will be talking another budget episode. And I want to, before we close out, I want to tell you guys, please follow our social media things. Hopefully I'll find time to update something on that. And then go to www.okayestyouthministry.com. Check out some of the resources that we offer there.
Also, Jeremy's budget's on there, correct?
Jeremy's budget is on there.
I've got to download that because I don't have my old files.
His budget is on there.
But please take a look at that. It's very in depth.
Yes.
I really don't think Jeremy created it, but he says he did.
I don't think
but
he
it's
did.
it's very in depth.
People ask me to speak at things. People like me.
So, hey, and this is Jeremy's plea for anyone that's looking for a youth minister. Apparently, Jeremy has lost his job.
Shut up.
He has not lost his job. He's just enjoys speaking in other places as well. But hey, we mentioned this earlier. Make sure you also take care of yourself as well. As we mentioned, we do have M2Y coming up, Ministry to Youth. That is November 6th through the 9th at Gatlinburg, Tennessee. You can register or get more information at m2yconference.com. We will be there. We will have a booth set up. We'll be recording a handful of episodes. Come by, say hey, grab a sticker.
Giving away free hats, right? We're not doing that. I'm kidding. We're not doing that.
We will
have
sell
some for
some.
sale.
We'll have hats. We'll have free stickers. We'll have hats for you to purchase. We'll have little Jesuses. And also, a big hit that was last year, we will also have another COC NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It happened
NCAA
that
tournament.
Heritage Christian University won last year.
That's right. That was kind of weird.
I think the results
And we were
a
at
little
Heritage,
skewed.
so strange.
But honestly, yeah, the results were skewed in the final game, but they made it to the finals.
They did.
That was crazy. But yeah.
Well,
anyways.
now I will say what happened. What had happened was Freed Hardeman was playing Heritage, and Freed was destroying them. And then the power went out in the building, and we had to restart the game. And somehow Heritage,
I
don't
remember
know,
that.
it
Second
was
half comeback.
supernatural.
What can we say?
The two-time national champs, the Harding football team, got beat by Heritage.
First round, I believe.
First round, yeah. So anyways, thank y'all so much for listening, and we really hope that we're helping your ministry. If we didn't think that we were, that we wouldn't be doing this. And sorry that we've missed a few weeks lately, but our schedules just haven't panned out very well for us. So.
Yeah, we're back at it.
But we do hope that your ministry is blessed.
Dadgummit.
Thanks for joining us today in the important conversation of youth ministry. Go and follow us on Instagram and check out OkayestYouthMinistry.com for more information about our upcoming episodes. We'll be dropping a new episode every Wednesday morning, and we look forward to talking with you again next week. And hey, it's okay to be the Okayest Youth Minister around, but let's all strive to be just a little bit better.